I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fans, Larry K, welcome to Phin-Addict Fury. I'm happy to be with you. Hope you dig my shirt. Legends Never Die, the great Don Shula, commemorating the 72 season. Again, this week, Arizona going down. We popped champagne in my last video to commemorate the occasion. We are still that only team, and that's really all we got to hang our hats on, because today we went down to the Bills. Hey, look. We all thought we were going to lose to the Bills. Very few, if anybody, thought we were actually going to beat the Bills. But the way we lost is still just frustrating, isn't it? Isn't it? The defense actually showed up. The defense showed up in a way they haven't showed up all season. For 3 quarters at least, mostly the first half, I'd say 2 quarters, the defense played very, very well against an explosive, talented, well-disciplined, well-coached Buffalo team. But yet it wasn't enough, because this team is terrible at playing complementary football. Absolutely pathetic at playing complementary football. And when we needed the offense in the second half, after the defense continued to make stops, when we needed the offense to get us down the field, give the defense a rest, score some points to keep the game close, they were unable to do it the whole second half up until the end of the fourth quarter. The Miami Dolphins offense was stagnant. That's a trend now. It seems like every week we open it up at the end of the game, we do all right. Sanders' missed field goal at the beginning is an absolute killer, because it changed the whole dynamic of the end of the game. When we scored that last touchdown, we would have been in closer striking distance, even with a Buffalo field goal, had Sanders hit that field goal at the beginning of the game. The entire team has regressed, including the kicker. I mean, I've really never seen anything quite like it, but I've already discussed that I think it was the losing of all those veteran players and just the mishandling of some coaching hires that really contributed to it. And again, I think the distractions with the quarterback rumors are also feeding into it. On that front, just really quick, if you haven't seen it yet, Adam Schefter reported this morning that a trade is now unlikely to happen, which I kind of predicted in my last video from Friday night. It doesn't look like at this juncture, as of right now, a trade is going to happen, because the Dolphins are offering what they're offering. They're not willing to increase the price given Deshaun Watson's legal issues, and Houston is not willing to lower the price. They think it'd be more advantageous for them to hold off until the offseason. So even with all of these rumors and all of this distraction on this team this year, it still might not happen. And where are we left as fans? Where are we left? The team seems to be once again in kind of purgatory, right? Because do you really believe in this regime anymore? And remember, the regime is GM, head coach, quarterback. Do you believe in this regime? Do you believe they're going to get it done? Here's the problem, right? Even say the trade doesn't happen, which it doesn't look like it is. So now you go through the rest of the season. We're not making the playoffs. You try to win. You try to play spoiler here and there. And by the way, the New York Jets won today. They won. So to add insult to injury, we are in dead last place by ourselves in the cellar of the AFC East. The New York Jets have a better record than us. And let us be real. We are one fluke play. I mean, I wouldn't say fluke, but because that's what X does. Xavier Howard caused the fumble in New England that led to our one victory. But let's be honest. How often does that happen in the NFL? The Patriots were driving. They were probably going to win that game, except X made a phenomenal play that very rarely happens even when you're trying to create a turnover. So we're one freak play by X away from actually being 0-8. And quite frankly, the way our team has been run, the way we handled our roster in the offseason, the way we're distracting everybody with the rumors, we deserve to be 0-8. And it's just complicated now because we also traded away our first round draft pick for next year. So it looks like it's going to be a top 3 pick the way things are going, and we're not even going to have it. Now, to me, that's a fireable offense. You trade away your top pick that's going to be a top 3 because your roster management and your coaching hires have been so bad that you're actually one of the worst teams in the league, and you made that gamble with your pick, and then you were that bad that the pick was that high and you sent it away. That's a fireable offense. That's a fireable offense, in my opinion. But we've already heard, the reporting is out there, that Stephen Ross is not inclined to separate from Chris Greer and Brian Flores after this year. So now what do we have to look for as fans? We have the rest of this season, which is futile at best. We can try to play spoiler. We can enjoy the Sunday, have a couple beers, eat some food, go to some games, but it's not going to mean anything. It's not going anywhere. And then we also have to go through next year with a regime that we believe is most likely has fatal flaws that are going to prevent it from making the franchise a Super Bowl contender. And all we have to look forward to is another year of futility so that then finally he'll make the coaching change, the GM change, and then we could rebuild again. That's what it looks like now. As of right now, it's what it looks like. It's pretty dreary. It's pretty dark. That's why I just got to sit here, talk to you guys, rep Don Shula, and just try to make the most of it because that's where we are. Now, let's talk about today, too. Let's talk about the offense in general. Let's talk about Tua. First of all, I think I saw Flores covering his face during a lot of the defensive, when the defense was on the field. I think Flores took a greater role in the defense this week. I think he realized that defense is his specialty. He's got to concentrate on it more. He's got to do more about defense, and I think he took a more active role. Whether he was actually calling plays or not, I don't know, or just involved in the process, I don't know. But it seemed like he was more heavily involved in the defense this week. And it did also seem like the defense played better this week. So that's an interesting development. But let's talk about the offense. We already know that the offensive coordinator hire was absolutely, not a good one. And that the way they were running the offense with multiple people and through the quarterback's coach and this and all that didn't go over very well. Then we have the quarterback. And I know there's a great debate. And the last 2 weeks, Tua did play relatively well, pretty well. But the 2 interceptions last week were a big detriment to him and to us winning the game, which we lost the game. Today, Tua wasn't pathetically bad or anything, but was Tua good? Did Tua stand up in any way, shape, or form next to Josh Allen, who, by the way, is going to be in this division for the foreseeable future? And is going to be atop the division and our main competition in the division for the foreseeable future. But we got to get through New England and the Jets first because we're dead on the bottom. And Brian Flores has never beaten the Bills as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills, with 7 straight, now have the longest active win streak in that rivalry in history. Let that sink in. The Buffalo Bills have now the longest win streak against the Miami Dolphins ever in history since the 2 teams started playing each other years ago in the mid-20th century. Just think about that. So Flores has never beaten them anyway. So now you have Tua. And did Tua stand toe-to-toe with Josh Allen? Absolutely not. There were times in that game, like the ridiculous fumble, and this is not the first time we've seen a fumble in the red zone right before the half that could have been pivotal in a game. You watch that play where the ball hits Gesicki. You watch that play, and you see that there's a lot of confusion. Guys don't know where to go. Guys are moving this way and that way, and then Gesicki at the last minute tries to go in motion across the field, and the ball gets snapped. It hits him. It falls. It's a turnover. It's a huge missed opportunity in the game. It changes, once again, the complexity of the game. It gives the Bills confidence going into the half, and we know how the book ends. In another play, if you watch, Gesicki was frustrated. And I watch Gesicki a lot during the games because he's one of the players that you could tell really, truly cares about winning. He truly cares about the franchise. He truly cares about trying to bring energy to the game. He truly wants to get things going. He truly and badly wants to turn the ship around. And I watch him during this game, and you see the frustration. And by the way, he's the one who got the 2-point conversion, who made the play to get us down there to score that touchdown at the end. There was another play after the fumble where Gesicki straight up he's had enough with the team not being able to get aligned properly, that he straight up gets out of his stance and just turns towards the offense as they're lining up for a play and is just yelling at them to align them properly. And the commentator said, yeah, Tua couldn't get it done, so Gesicki tried to get it done. Now, I don't know that you put it all on Tua. You probably don't, okay? It starts with coaching. And this offensive coordinator hire was terrible. And the offensive side of the ball is so dysfunctional that players don't even know where they're lining up. Is that coaching? Is that quarterback? I told you what a regime was. GM, head coach, quarterback, everybody in between on that structure. For some reason, either Tua is not, doesn't have a good enough relationship with the players, he's not good at managing them out of the huddle, or the coaching is so bad, as far as coaching him, that he doesn't have the tools to get it done, and the coaching is bad with his fellow teammates so that they can't get it done. Either way, it's probably a combination of all of those things. It's probably a combination of coaches and players. But the fact is, Tua isn't getting it done in that regard. The offense is stagnant. It is what it is. He's okay. Again, though, some of the throws were great. A lot of the throws were not. And just the general alignment and the mentality of the team is off. I'm not going to put it all on Tua, though. The team is just in trouble. And then, speaking of complimentary football, not only at the beginning did the offense not get going when the defense was playing their hearts out, but if you've been a fan of this team for a long time, and if you've been a football fan for a long time, and if you have watched this season every week, just tell me, when we scored that touchdown and then we got that 2-point conversion and we really had a chance, we were within striking distance, tell me, ask yourself, didn't you just know, sadly, didn't you just know that the defense was not going to make the stop when we needed it? You just knew. We can't play complimentary football. So the offense wasn't getting it going the whole beginning of the game, but you knew as soon as the offense got it going, you just knew, because I did. You just knew that the defense was going to not make a stop and they were going to march down the field and get some kind of score, field goal, touchdown, whatever. And they got the field goal. Then we had the interception, and then it's just, it's not good enough. And, when this trade is over, that's fine. I said last video Friday night, I said at least we can try to watch Tua and see if he develops properly and see how he does. That's the one silver lining. It's the one thing we could look at the rest of the season. And I still say that, right? The Bills are a very good team. He's not going to have a great game every week. We could still watch Tua's development. But it's a little bit of a letdown that this trade might not go down. The coaching staff still looks bad. The roster moves still look bad. We have an offseason where we would have at least had a top 3 pick to look forward to for either trading pieces to get other players or drafting somebody. And now we don't even have that. Looks like this regime, which we already know the direction this is going, is crashing and burning. And we're still going to have to hold on to them and deal with them longer than usual, longer than they should be. And then we're going to have to scrap them and start all over again. I mean, I hate to say it. And I love being on these videos, and I love speaking to you guys. I love just the camaraderie that we have as fans. I'm looking forward to when Miami comes to Jersey to play the Jets. I'm going to be at the game. I'll do a little video from there. There's a lot of fun stuff for us to do as far as content and fans. But like as an actual Miami Dolphins fan, there's not much to look forward to now. There's not much fun that's going to happen for the foreseeable future. And that's a pity, isn't it? That's an absolute pity. Now, I'll leave the video review and things to people like Dougley, who really is going to be able to delve into, what went wrong on the fumble, etc. But I do know enough to say, suffice it to say, there's some kind of incredible disorganization on the side of the offense, especially, where they're just having trouble everywhere. It's just a mess. And by the way, the line played a lot better today. I mean, the team came out better, but we still just couldn't get it done. Despite Gesicki having an impressive game when his ball was in his hands, despite Parker beasting. And by the way, Parker's beasting, and you wonder why. Because there's also rumors coming out that maybe we're going to move Parker before the trade deadline. Now, look, he's hurt a lot. We pay him a lot. He has good value. But he's one of the better players on the team still. And at a certain point, when we draft as terribly as we do, at a certain point, you've got to start wondering why we're trading away all our best players for draft picks that we're not even going to use properly anyway. So you wonder, you hope he doesn't get traded, honestly. You know, maybe there's good value, and I understand we could debate whether he should be traded because he's hurt and this and that, and he's getting older and his value's high right now. We could debate it. And any other team would maybe make sense, but on this team, it's like, don't get rid of even the guys that make plays for us, which are few and far between. You're going to get rid of for draft picks so you can pick more terrible, barely even role-playing guys to plug into this mediocre rebuild and this mediocre in perpetuity franchise that you are presiding over, that we are forced to watch. Why? And why are you so... I mean, look, I get the Deshaun Watson thing. I get why you don't want to pay a high price because of the legal issues. Perfectly understandable. On the other side, you're in futility anyway. You don't make good picks anyway. You don't even have your own pick. Who cares? Maybe just roll the dice and go out and do something wild. Because what do you have to lose? The Lions might be worse than us. They might be worse than us. But we are neck and neck for who's the worst team in the entire league. Think about that. And again, whether you're talking about Tua, whether you're talking about some of these draft picks that we call busts, I don't care who you're talking about. It could be Tua or anybody else. I think a lot of the problem goes to the coaching staff. We can say Tua's not up to par. We can say, Hunt isn't great, but he's okay. We can say all of these different things. But at the end of the day, say Jackson, we can say whatever we want. Eichenberg, we can say they struggle. But how do we know that all of our players are not struggling, including Tua, because our coaches are just not good enough to develop them? Seems like that's where we are. So it was just, one of those games where I expected a blowout. I wasn't even that hyped to see the game. I didn't really care. I actually enjoyed seeing the Buffalo fans all dressed up and whatnot for Halloween because it's kind of a fun time. I'm glad somebody's having fun on Sundays. I'm glad at least the Buffalo Bills fans are having fun. And you know what? The Jets were home too, and those people had fun because they won. Good for them. Good for Ryan Tannehill, by the way, and the Titans. Good for them. Why would I be bitter and hate on other people who are having fun? I wish I was having fun like they were. I wish I was. But while they're having fun, I was settling into a game I didn't think we were going to win. But it was more heartbreaking when you watch the defense put forth a good effort. And you think, okay, maybe we're not going to make the playoffs still. But you're like, okay, if we can beat the Bills, it's just a statement. Maybe overall, the mentality, the culture of the franchise, because they show that they could beat a team like Buffalo, maybe, then that could be some kind of transformational thing, some kind of segue into better times for the Dolphins. And when you watch that game, your hope starts to build little by little. And as your hope builds, you don't want the optimism to creep in because you know you're going to have your spirit crushed in the end. But as the optimism builds a little bit, you start kind of rooting for them. You're like, oh, this is a close game. Then they have the fumble off Gesicki for no reason. Then they have the interception at the end of the game. Then we score the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, and you send some energy. And, of course, the defense lets them go. It's just this team this year is just a bad team. And I know we know that. But, this is really a bad football team, right? This is a bad football team. And I don't just say that because we lose games. The traits and characteristics of a bad football team as compared to a good or a middling football team is that bad football teams make comical errors at the most inopportune times. We are that bad team. We are the level of bad team that the Jets were when Sanchez had the butt fumble. That's what we are. We're the type of team where you get to the red zone in a close game against a division rival at the end of the half. You get a penalty to keep you down there. You're on the verge of scoring, at least kicking a field goal, and you can't get lined up, and the center snaps the ball into your tight end as he's motioning across the field, and it just so happens the ball came out at the exact time to hit him and cause a turnover. That's how bad we are. We're a bad team. Period. And I'm not sitting here to ruin your Sunday with just pouring fuel on the fire because you're already upset. I'm just here to be with you and we can work this thing out together. This is just a group therapy session between me and you guys. Because with the reports and everything coming out, what do we have to look forward to? Let's just keep hoping that the defense brings their A game every week. Let's hope we see Tua continue to improve. But today didn't inspire much confidence that we were going to turn it around. It didn't inspire confidence that the regime was going to get it together. Why can't we even get aligned on offense? I'll tell you now, when the trade deadline's over, I'll be happy because there'll be no more speculation about who's staying, who's going, whatever. And one thing that better happen with this team, they better lock down Mike Gesicki. Either give him a contract extension or franchise him, whatever you're going to do. But he's one of the most heartful, soulful players on this team. And he's a Miami Dolphin that you drafted. And he's a difference maker. You better not get rid of more of your homegrown veterans like you've been doing for the last 20 years by somebody like a Gesicki, letting them walk. That's why you draft some other tight end who's on the bench, not even dressing half the time. Why? Because you're going to replace one of the better guys in the league? What's wrong with you? It's like as soon as a player gets good, you look to get rid of him, except X, who as soon as he gets good, you pay him a ton of money, and then he hasn't really been a non-factor this year, and he's been burned a couple times too. It's just bad decision after bad decisions because we are a bad team. But you better lock down Gesicki, and you better hire a legitimate offensive coordinator, a guy with experience, a veteran who's going to be another mind in the room with Flores, who's going to tell him when he's wrong, is going to be able to weigh in and give advice. You get a real offensive coordinator who wants to build a real offense here. And then you better keep your veterans and bring in other proven veterans to be leaders on this team because you got rid of everybody last year that was a veteran, that was a leader on this team, and look what it got you. You went from one of the better teams, an okay team, to the worst team in the league. Second worst at best. So you better figure out that. And if you're going to go after Watson or another quarterback or a Russell Wilson or whatever you're going to do, then do it. Personally, I think Stephen Ross should move on from this regime at the end of the year and let the new GM and coach decide if they're going to keep Tua or if they want to go out and get their quarterback or whatever they want to do. I would just move on because I would get ahead of the inevitable because I don't think they're going to be able to turn it around. It's sad to say. I definitely hope I'm wrong. Trust me, eating crow is the best. I wish I could eat crow every Sunday night when I say these types of things. I really do. So trust me, I hope I'm wrong about this regime. I hope I'm wrong about Tua. I hope I'm wrong about all of it. But as of right now, it looks like a failure, a resounding failure. I think they should move on. But since we know, we have a lot of indications they're not going to move on, then you better at least lock down your current veteran leadership that cares about being a Dolphin, and you better go out and sign more veterans to try to bolster this team and give this team some much-needed leadership, and you better hire some real coaches for the offensive side of the ball so that we can build some semblance of an actual offense. That's all we hope can happen. And I'm already noticed that all the things I'm talking about are actually off-season things because this season is already in the toilet. I mean, we can hope for something like Flores' first year where we just finish strong on an upward trajectory. Of course we can hope for that. And I hope that's where we are at the end of the season. I hope I'm talking to you about how encouraging things are at the end of the year, and I can't wait for next year. But I don't see it happening. So in a game that we knew we were going to lose anyway, I didn't think I could be more annoyed about it. But just hearing myself talking to you now, I can tell that it affected me worse than I wanted it to. Because we love the team. We love the Miami Dolphins. We're big-time fans. We're hardcore fans. And that's how we feel. And it's hard not to get upset. It's hard not to see a division rival that was pretty much lockstep with us at the bottom of the division for 20 years is now a Super Bowl contender because they built their team right and we are struggling to even line up on offense. That hurts. That hurts. So all I can do is go to the past, look at Don Shula, think about the glory years, have my nostalgia. And by the way, I wasn't even alive in 72, so I can't even really cherish those moments. I can only cherish the Marino years, which still had their share of heartbreak. That's all I can do. And just hope that there's no more. I can't sit here and say strategically, we can do this, we can get this guy, we can make this move. I can't even do that anymore because it seems futile. It's just got to be lucky, like hitting the lottery. Or hitting a jackpot at a slot machine. It's got to be. I just got to hope that one day, while I'm on this earth, they stumble upon the right coach or the right GM and things turn around or the right quarterback. I don't know. But I don't have a lot of hope. I just have blind faith. And you have to just have blind faith as a Miami Dolphins fan at this point. That's all you can do. We can't even make a controversial trade that might not even solve all our problems to get like a big-time quarterback. We can't even make that happen because, of course, the one guy who wants to come here has to get all these accusations against them, and then his team has to have such a high demanding asking price. We can't even get that done. And then we can't even not get that done and then just go along with our young quarterback into it. We have to not get it done, but also have these rumors persist for months so that it destroys our relationship with Tua and causes us to argue about Tua and about Watson and every other thing. Like, we can't do anything right. Again, we can't even line up right. We can't even snap the ball without it hitting a player in motion. But whatever. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I may have a video this week depending on how the trade deadline goes, what goes on. Again, I appreciate everybody listening. I'm sorry that this video wasn't as chill and as straightforward as far as analysis and conversation as a lot of times my videos are. This was more of a little bit of a rant, but that's the mood I'm in today. Things are just the way they are, and it's tough to come at you in a smooth, composed way when the Dolphins make me so damn furious. Phin-Addict fury. But I'll talk to everybody very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday as best you can. Enjoy your week. Let's see what Miami does coming up. Let's see what happens with the trade deadline. I will definitely touch base with you. If anything crazy happens with the trade deadline or anything crazy happens with Miami making moves and trading players, you can tune in here. You can look for a video because I promise you soon after anything like that happens, I'll be posting something. And you'll get some content for that. Until that happens or until I decide to compose myself, get back to my normal ambiance with my normal microphone and talk to you again in a little more calm manner. Until then, enjoy the content, enjoy your week, and keep the faith as best you can. Even though it's blind faith, keep the blind faith. I'll talk to you very soon. Hey, smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. Do me a favor and share the video with your other friends, football or Dolphins fans, whoever. Share it on other Dolphins networks you're involved with. Anybody who wants to collaborate or anything like that in the videos or the chats, shout. Give me a shout. I'm open to collaborate with anybody and anybody. Love you guys. Talk to you very, very soon. Larry K. Out.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.